The TFSA is one of the most important wealth building tools we have here in Canada. In this video, I'm going to cover everything that you need to know about the tax-free savings account. Now, if you came here for something specific like how contribution room works, there are timestamps in the description below. Feel free to skip ahead. Let's start with where the TFSA came from. The TFSA was created way back in 2009 thanks to a man by the name of Jim Flaherty, who was the Minister of Finance at the time under the Stephen Harper government. The TFSA was implemented as a way of encouraging Canadians to save for their future. Now I want to talk about the elephant in the room for a second, the name of the account. It's called a tax-free savings account. So just like how confusing it must be for you, a long time ago, back when I was 19 or 20 years old, it was confusing for me as well. I remember going to the bank at TD Bank and the teller asking me if I wanted to open a high interest tax-free savings account. And I thought, well, high interest is good, right? Tax-free is also good. So sure, why not? So I opened up the account and deposited a few $100s into it and just let it sit there. And it accrued maybe a couple dollars of interest over the next maybe 5 years. And years later, I finally discovered that the TFSA is not just for savings. It's labeled a savings account, but it is best used as a tax shelter for your investments. Now, to open a TFSA, there are 3 requirements. Be a resident of Canada, have a valid social insurance number, and be at least 18 years old. So here's how the account works. The TFSA is like a basket. You deposit money into it. You don't want it to just sit there and earn a disrespectful amount of interest that the bank offers you. You want to use that money to purchase investments that stay inside that basket, which is your tax shelter. The money you deposit into your TFSA can and should be used to purchase investment products such as stocks, ETFs, mutual funds, GICs, or shares of REITs. And ideally, you'll earn income from those investments in 3 main ways: dividend income, interest income, or capital gains. And this income earned inside your TFSA is tax-free because this basket, that is your TFSA, is a tax shelter. The TFSA is great and it has a lot of benefits, but in order to take full advantage of all of those benefits, you need to follow the following contribution rules. If you don't stay within your contribution limits and you over-contribute to your TFSA, you'll wind up paying tax on your over-contributed amount. First, let's talk about the difference between contribution limit and contribution room. Contribution limit is how much you can contribute in a particular year. For example, in 2024, if you have an open TFSA, your contribution limit is $7,000 for this calendar year, meaning you can contribute up to a maximum of $7,000 in additional funds in 2024. Contribution room is how much total room you have available to contribute. This amount is cumulative and grows each year, starting from when you turned 18, assuming it was in 2009 or later. You can see on the screen the contribution limits for each year from 2009 till present. The contribution limit started out as $5,000 way back in 2009, but it can change each year as it's indexed to inflation according to the CRA website. Now let's look at 2 examples to help you understand how the account actually works. So Braden was eager to open his TFSA, but he didn't turn 18 until December 21st, 2022. On January 4th, 2023, he opened a TFSA and contributed $12,500. $6,000 was for 2022, plus $6,500 was for 2023, the maximum TFSA dollar limit for those years. On the advice of his broker, he had opened a self-directed TFSA and invested in stocks that increased in value. By the end of 2023, the value in Braden's TFSA had increased to $12,800. Braden was worried that for 2024, he would only be able to contribute $6,700. Neither the earnings generated in the account nor the increase in its value will reduce the TFSA contribution room in the following year, so Braden can contribute up to $7,000 in 2024 to his TFSA. Now, in this example, it's important to see that although he opened his account in 2023, which had a limit of $6,500, his contribution room was $12,500 because he had unused room from when he turned 18 in 2022. And that's how we got to $12,500. Now this example is taken straight from the CRA website. The link is in the description below, so you can have a look for yourself. Now let's look at a little bit more complex example to show what happens when you go to sell your investments. So in this example, let's say John is 20 years old and has $10,000 to invest when he opens his TFSA on January 21st, 2015. So John was 18 in 2013, so his contribution room starts accumulating from 2013. So in 2013, the contribution limit was $5,500, 2014, $5,500, and 2015, $10,000. So as of January 1st, 2015, John's cumulative contribution room is $21,000. That's $11,000 from 2013 and 2014, and the $10,000 limit in 2015. So John contributes $10,000 in 2015. Now this is just an example, but he buys a combination of stocks and indexed ETFs inside of his TFSA. He now has an additional $11,000 of unused contribution room as of January 22nd, 2015. So now let's fast forward to December 2021. So John hasn't contributed anything new to his TFSA since that initial contribution. So over the last 5 years, $0 in contributions. His TFSA has now grown from $10,000 to $28,000. So he decides to sell $20,000 worth of his investments to put towards his down payment for his future home. So in this scenario, he's able to withdraw $20,000 from his account tax-free after selling his investments, and he has $8,000 worth of investments left in his account. So let's calculate John's new contribution room as of January 1st, 2022. So first we need to determine his contribution room at the beginning of 2021. So if you remember, he had $11,000 in contribution remaining back in 2015 after his contribution. As we looked at the chart before, and you can see it on the screen now, in 2016, contribution limit was $5,500. In 2017, it was $5,500. 2018, it was $5,500. 2019, it was $6,000. 2020, it was $6,000. In 2021, it was $6,000. So we add that with the contribution limits in all of the following years, and we get $39,500 as John's contribution room available as of January 1st, 2021. That's $11,000 plus the contribution limits in 2016 through 2021. Now, to get his 2022 contribution room available, we'll take the beginning, his contribution room beginning 2021 of $39,500, subtract contributions he made in 2021, which was $0. You get unused contribution room at the end of 2021, which is $39,500. You add the total withdrawals made in 2021, which was $20,000, and you add the 2021 contribution limit of $6,000. And we get $65,500 as his contribution room available January 1st, 2022. This calculation at the end is taken straight from the CRA website. You guys can go have a look. Link is in the description. And we don't actually have to make this calculation. You can log into your CRA My account at any time and scroll to the bottom, and you'll see your total contribution room in the bottom corner for your RRSP as well as your TFSA. It's important to remember that this number does not get updated all the time. It's once a year, so keep that in mind. It's important to remember in this scenario that John invested wisely. So when he withdrew his money, it increased his contribution room. If John had not done so well, and for example, John invested $10,000 and lost $5,000, and instead his balance was $5,000 and decided to withdraw it, that would have decreased his contribution room. So that's pretty much everything you need to know about the TFSA. I hope you found this video helpful, and I'd love it if you drop a thumbs up or a like, whatever you want to call it, so YouTube can show this video to more people like you. See you guys in the next one.